Okay, buongiorno. This is the last Italian word I would say today. Thank you to be here. Welcome. There is one seat here, if you want, another seat here. Okay, I'm very happy to be here with our guests. So today we are going to talk about branding, no branding, who knows, how to remain relevant in tourism in this world that is changing. And I'm very happy to have as a guest Catherine Warrilow, I said that correctly. She's the founder of The Plot, a UK-based consultancy. She has a background in tourism, but she deals with PR, branding, digital strategy, blogging, a lot of stuff. And she helps companies to tell extraordinary stories. She helps to attract visitors. So we will see together how to do it now that things are changing. So first question, I'm going to sit because I'm...
Thank you for the introduction.
My pleasure. So, branding without human. If decisions are made by algorithm, does it still make sense to talk about branding?
So I would say more so than ever. And I hope I'm going to speak really slowly and clearly, but if I'm speaking too fast, please just wave and I'll slow down.
Can you hear her?
Is it okay? You
Okay.
good?
Okay.
Amazing. So despite AI, despite algorithms, and we'll talk a bit more about where AI is amazing, but brand is still incredibly important. I ate a pizza last night, an amazing pizza, at a restaurant called Borgo Antico. I wandered past maybe 6 restaurants. I hadn't used Google Maps. I just decided what felt like the right place to stop and eat my dinner and enjoy a glass of red wine. That was brand. That was the smile on the faces of the waiters. It was the, where are you from? I love Oxford. Did you study there? Here's an extra glass of wine. Welcome to Florence. I mean, perfect welcome. All of that is brand. And that matters so much because we are so overwhelmed by choice when it comes to our purchasing decisions, whether that's in tourism and travel, attractions, experiences, a pizza museum maybe, that brand swaps us from these are the practical choices to this is the emotional decision that I'm going to make. So I would say more so than ever, and brand is not just your marketing, your reputation, it's your customer service. It's very difficult for an algorithm to fix a customer service problem when a family arrives at your museum with the wrong tickets, but if your brand is strong, your people will fix that problem.
I totally agree with you, and I think that today is even more important to develop a strong brand for at least 2 reasons.
Yeah.
First, because now that we have Google AI overview, people don't land on website anymore. So we need to be found by Google and AI and to have a strong brand to be at least analyzed, then included in the answer. So this is the first reason, I should say. The second one is that probably there are still some people who would like to look us up directly. I've read some recent analysis on online behavior, and people want to have a minimum of freedom of choice. They want to choose who to look, who to click. Okay, they appreciate this tool because they give us quick answers. But at the same time, they want, okay, now I know many answers, I want to choose.
Yeah. And a quick answer can be good, but the problem that gives you for your brand is that maybe it's not completely accurate information. So you find that you maybe reach more people, but when those people find your hotel, your restaurant, your museum, that it's not quite what was described to them. So then you have a challenge with managing visitor expectations. I think AI is a fantastic way of helping people to find that shortlist. I have one client, Invisible Cities. Zakia, their founder, is here today at BTO. She's speaking on a panel tomorrow about sustainability. And we've spent a lot of time this year optimizing the content, the website, social media for AI. So we have now lots of bookings for their walking tours across the UK that come specifically from ChatGPT. But we've had to do a really good job of the brand storytelling to achieve that. That quick, easy choice, it still has fundamental brand strategy behind it. What story are you telling? Who are you talking to? What problem do you solve for them? How do you want them to feel about that experience in a very conversational way? All of the SEO practices that were bad 5 years ago are still bad.
You are spoiling my next question. I was just to ask you, in this changing world, AI and SEO, search engine optimization, probably the old technique don't work anymore, right?
The old technique still works to a certain extent. So the things that didn't work particularly well were stuffing keywords into content for the sake of it, building links that weren't really very valuable, thin content written purely for SEO. That's still true. It's also still true that informative, educational, interesting, entertaining content is the holy grail of SEO and of AI optimization. So the page that's now most important on your website is your FAQ page. That page can't just have, do you have parking? Is there a cafe? Do children get free tickets? It has to be much more detailed. It has to answer the question from the parent who is asking ChatGPT, I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, we have a double push chair, we like to stop for breaks, we want to be able to fill up our water bottles, we want to park on site, we want to leave by 4 p.m. So very detailed questions. AI is looking at 1 million sources to find out if your experience does answer that need. So you've got to be able to provide that information. I think the biggest thing that has changed is that your website is maybe only 5% of that puzzle. So AI is looking for 95% of the answer in other places as well. Reddit, YouTube, TikTok, TripAdvisor, Google reviews, other websites that talk about your brand with the same storytelling as you do, looking for that consistency.
I didn't tell you before, please follow her on TikTok. She's very active on social media. She does really informal, funny videos, but with useful tips. So I suggest it because it's not so common for people for our age to be so active on TikTok. You know, we have a generational problem. Going back to SEO issues, I think, yes, old technique that don't work anymore. We mean keyword stuffing, we mean over-optimization, we mean shallow content full of keywords just to be found by Google. That doesn't work anymore. What works is optimization for accessibility. We think about the tag alternative that you can add to images. You can do it on your website, on your blog, even on Instagram, that help the algorithm to associate something to your pictures. And we know in Europe there is a recent law about this accessibility, so we have to follow the guideline. Then we can talk about usability. So when you optimize your website to be easy to navigate, is better for people. And also performance. A fast website is good for people and also for engines and for ChatGPT and every platform. So if we think about this, okay, we can still optimize our website. SEO is not dead, probably it's changed. So a good content is a content written thinking about the user search intent. We don't say how long it should be. We don't know. Sometimes it should be short. When is open the restaurant? At 6. Okay, that's enough. What kind of restaurant is? What are the recipe? Do you have special plate? That could be longer, right? So things are changing. Okay.
Yeah. And I would also add that digital accessibility, especially in tourism, is really important. So look at your customer journey from a ticketing perspective. Is it really easy to understand your ticket types or your entry types? Can I buy a ticket in less than 3 clicks? Sometimes we make our checkout process and our purchase process overly complicated, especially if you are a visitor attraction, for example, who also lists with other sites like Get Your Guide or Viator, Airbnb, Booking.com, then make sure that you can own the customer from a brand perspective, because your checkout process and that customer journey is so easy and simple.
Perfect. You were talking about a customer journey, so I'm going to ask you conversational search. How is changing the way people, tourists, are looking for a destination or an offer, and how we can manage this?
I would come back to storytelling. The way we storytell for our brands is the most important part of that customer journey. I call it the understory. So you have your customer journey here, which is the linear journey that you think your customer takes. They are inspired to travel, they do some research, they visit some websites, they book. But that's not what happens, is it? The understory might start in a WhatsApp group chat, it might bounce to Reddit, to TikTok, back to the group chat, some Google reviews, to TripAdvisor, to a website, to another website, back to the group chat. It doesn't go in a straight line. And I think when you're thinking about storytelling and content creation and how your content will stand out from your brand perspective, you've got to remember that customers are going like this rather than this. So how do you make sure that they end up with you as their purchasing choice through all that confusion and chaos? Your storytelling has to be so clear and so emotive and almost repetitive. I would say being repetitive is actually a good thing when it comes to good storytelling.
Yes, I see today customer journey is messy, as you say, as Google says. And let's say a tourist can be inspired by a video found on Google, maybe posted on TikTok. Now social media are indexed by Google, remember? And maybe in this video there's a guy saying 7 reasons why you should visit this little known village. And then that person goes on ChatGPT and asks the same question, why should I visit that village? And then it got a lot of answers, included a list of hotels sorted by Booking.com. And we can book the hotel directly from ChatGPT. This feature is not available in Italy yet. UK, is it available? Oh, yes. So in UK, people can book directly via ChatGPT. And then maybe that person land on another website about destination, maybe, and find a chatbot asking, how do I get there? Or maybe what can I do there? Where can I have good food? So it's really hard to see all the pieces of information around the web. And now the platforms are rich in information, but the changing game is the fact they remember our preferences. I'm a mother with a kid of 10 years old. I don't want to see offers related to singles or to young couples. I'm not young. And so I appreciate when the platform remember my preferences. I'm a gourmet. I like to go in tasty places. And then it's a machine learning. So every time I come back, I found better result. So it's hard, will be hard in the future to distinguish from the bot from a human. We don't know.
So I think the two things combined are what are really powerful. So I live in Oxford in the UK, and I get to experience lots of travel and tourism brands and experiences. But I haven't been on enough food tours. I love food. I love eating out. I love trying new food. So I asked ChatGPT to find me the cheapest food tour in Oxford and also the most expensive food tour in Oxford. And I booked them both. Now, my expectation was that logically the expensive one would be better. And it wasn't. It was terrible. I would go as far as say it was boring. And there definitely wasn't enough food. The £13, €15 tour was extraordinary. And that was because the guide was the most incredible storyteller. He was so animated. He was full of knowledge that you would never ever find anywhere else. You wouldn't find it on Google, you wouldn't find it through AI. They were his own stories of shops, restaurants, dishes, recipes, handed down through generations. We tasted incredible ingredients, flavors, we were told how to cook with them. And I've told everybody about that tour, and I know at least 6 or 7 friends and family have already booked that tour. Should he put his prices up? Absolutely. But his brand means that he has no marketing costs. None. Because his word of mouth is so powerful, because he created this very emotional connection with his guests through his storytelling. So that partnership between me finding him through AI originally and the onward word of mouth that explodes his popularity is what is really powerful, I think.
I was going to ask you just some example, but you just did it. But maybe you can give me a more theoretical answer about storytelling and authenticity, two words that I really love. So I was going to ask you, but you already told us. So do you think small business can get a point about this new changing scenario?
I think absolutely, and I would go back to my point about repetition. Especially as small businesses, we have this fear that we have to be doing all of this incredible marketing and content creation all of the time. So every Monday you say, what crazy thing can I say about my business this week that is going to grab people's attention and be different and new and fresh? Whereas actually the audiences that we were just about reaching, who were just starting to understand our message, are now seeing your brand new message, because you have this pressure to be different all of the time. So I would keep your marketing really simple. It will stand out better. It will be less work for you. Just repurpose your stories in interesting ways. I listened to a talk from the marketing team at Haribo recently, the gummy sweets. And apparently we are 40% less funny than we were 20 years ago. And I think that's really sad. And I think it's because we are scared to offend people or upset people or be cancelled maybe, that we have taken a lot of humour out of our marketing. And I would challenge everyone in the room to think about how you can use humour in a fun, light, maybe sensible way. But put some fun back into your marketing. Keep it simple. Talk to other humans. You are talking to people just like you. There is not this big divide when it comes to brand between the business and the consumer. We all have motivations to travel. We all want to have entertaining, fun, enjoyable experiences. So I think my biggest takeaway would be relax. Stop filling in the spreadsheet of marketing posts for Instagram, TikTok, this day, that time, and just find fun ways to actually communicate and have a conversation with people.
You touched a very hard point. I mean, people are scared about to appear less formal. We in Italy, we are very formal. Have you seen how many people with formal dress? So we are scared that if you show yourself, your face in the video, and you are not following some rigid style, probably you would lose some credibility. We have this fear. I think it's not real, but many people I know, I have many customers, they say, no, I don't want to appear in any video, my face, I don't like my voice. So what kind of suggestion would you give to this kind of people, just to try?
Yeah, it's really difficult. Put your hands up if you hate the idea of being on a video for your business.
Now you're testing to understand
this
you.
Is great. I saw like 2 or 3 hands only. No. So that means you're all...
I repeat the Italian.
Okay.
Chi ha paura di mostrarsi in video con la propria faccia o il volto, alzi la mano. No, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're not shy.
So no excuses there. No reason not to create video for your business with you in it. One of the most powerful things you can do from a brand perspective is to take people behind the scenes, to show them the people behind the business, to show them how the business operates. It creates trust, it creates an emotional connection, it gives people a reason to follow and engage with your brand outside of the purchase journey. I call that situational relevance. It basically means how can you be relevant to your audience all of the time? They may only visit you once a year. How do you make sure they want to share your content with friends, with family, with colleagues, even when they're not looking to buy from you? And I think we'll talk a bit more about the future of brand and what that might look like too.
And I think the small businesses are the one who can take more advantage about this new world. I mean, I have some real example, like the one I'm going to tell you. I know this small bed and breakfast close to Florence in La Strassigna, which is not a touristic place, definitely. I don't know if there is someone from there here. It's a very quiet residential place. This lady inherited a family house and then decided to open to travelers. And she opened her Instagram profile and she posted everything. I mean, this is the room where I used to play when I was a child. This is the courtyard when I'm serving breakfast. My father parked here, the van. And these are the cake I'm preparing for breakfast using my grandma recipes. And she speaks in a very genuine way, in a very warm way. And she showed also her vulnerabilities. And she got 100,000 followers on her own without ever paying. It took some years, I mean, not in just a few months, but she did it, and she filled the guest house without ever being listed on Booking.com or Airbnb. So she can do this because she just shows what is her life, everyday life. I mean, when something is broken, her husband tried to repair it, and she showed a video. My husband is trying to repair this table. Hope it works. So she's genuine.
It's a beautiful opportunity. And back to your question about small businesses with very small budget, this is an ideal opportunity. I see this content on my own personal TikTok and Instagram feeds all the time, and the algorithms are actually helping you to see content that is more relevant. I had my hair cut recently. At the moment, all I see is videos in hairdressing salons of women my age having a new hairstyle. I could watch those for hours.
Me too.
And it's the same premise with the B&B example. We love to see the creator making the cake, making the bed, setting the table, arranging flowers, all of those things, because it transports us to that place. How do I make someone feel that they are here with me? How do I make them think, that's where I want to be when I next have the opportunity for a weekend away? Because that 100,000 people following will absolutely be translating into bookings. And that
direct
is
booking,
free,
no intermediation, yes.
Yes, free marketing.
And I follow her, even I think I will never go sleep there because I live in Florence. But it's so nice to follow her that it's entertainment, you know, it's not just marketing. Okay, let's go back to one point you mentioned it before, the need to be consistent and to repeat now and then the same message. Because what I see in my experience, I'm a consultant too, is that people think that one-time message is enough. Let's take the example of in a few days, we'll be in the Black Friday week. So in this period, companies, even travel operators, decide to run a campaign maybe on social media, they activate some ads, and they think that's enough. But the problem is that in that week, everybody's bidding, so your audience will be overloaded by touristic offers and generic offers as well. So probably my suggestion should be start early, talking about your offer, what is about, who are you targeting, what is different from the other competitor. But at least in Italy, we tend to arrive close to the date. It happens for Black Friday, for Christmas, for New Year's Eve. We launch the Christmas events around the 15th of December, but it's too late because foreigner people book early, well, some of them, and at least they want information early. Maybe they can book on the last minute, but they want to learn, to discover, to know what's on in Florence in December or in New Year's Eve. We don't know. We are in 11th of November. I don't know what's on in Florence for New Year's Eve. So how can I promote to tourists and say, come to Florence to celebrate the New Year? I don't know. So probably we need to repeat in several touch points.
I think Black Friday is a good example of a period where it's very difficult for your messaging to stand out. I think there are two things that are really important. I think understanding that each channel has a different purpose. So yes, you want consistency across your messaging, but you might deliver that in a slightly different way across TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, your website, and anywhere else. On TikTok, it might be much more relaxed video content showing the business preparing for Black Friday, and that's a great opportunity to start early. On Instagram, it might be more aspirational content of a product being demonstrated in a beautiful setting. On Pinterest, it might be content that you would save for later because it fits in with your vision of your perfect life. So I think understanding that each channel is different, and then the second point would be to find a different way to deliver that message. If you are selling products or services in Black Friday that are similar to lots of other people, make the way you access that offer different. Make it creative, make it interesting, or make the delivery of that discount code far more exciting. So rather than just entering your email address to reveal a code, I don't know, every Friday at lunchtime, 10 people are picked to receive a lucky code, or something different that people say, I'm going to follow because I feel excited to be a part of this conversation. I want to be within this community with this brand because I feel like if I'm not, I'm going to miss out on something special that other people can't access.
And to be different means also to use different words and language. I've watched your video. I like two videos when you say, please don't use hidden gems or real local authentic experience is over-abused words, like special offer. Everybody says special offer. So try to be more concrete, more specific, more human, more emotional, maybe.
More descriptive. So the example there was a very overused phrase in the UK in tourism of hidden gem, and you will have seen it in lots of marketing as well. What does that actually mean? It's so generic, and it's a very lazy way to say, we've got something undiscovered to show you. Actually, it's not undiscovered, and it's only a gem to people that find that particular topic interesting. So be descriptive. Come back to storytelling. How does it make you feel? Is it an adrenaline rush, or is it a calming, relaxing moment? Use words that actually stir a physical feeling in an audience that make them think, that is how I want to feel, that is where I want to be.
And there is also another real problem. The attention of the user is very limited. When we open Instagram or TikTok, our feed is full of videos, of reels. So you need to grab attention in very few seconds. So probably you need a powerful hook to get attention, but you need also something to say. Otherwise, the people, okay, I open it, but it doesn't interest me, and you just scroll. There are thousands of other videos relevant for me because the algorithm is very good in showing things that interest me.
Absolutely. So coming back to the example that I call situational relevance, think about what people are looking to escape from when they buy from you. So if you run a luxury spa, for example, rather than your TikTok content saying, welcome to our spa, maybe the hook should be, what happens when you close your laptop on Friday and don't have to think about work again until Monday? That's what we allow you to do. So you are creating a relevant hook up front in the first 3 seconds, targeting specifically the audience that you know are looking for an escape from a busy working week, maybe from small children, some time just for them to stop and relax. No laptop, no phone, just being spoiled and looked after.
In Florence, we have a very big spa where phones were not allowed till a few years ago. Now they're allowed only outside, but inside you cannot bring your phone. Well, you can bring it, but you have to keep it off. It's not common in Italy because we are very smartphone addicted. And normally, in general, people think about AI in a sort of negative way, but I think that small business, but also everybody can use AI to save time. I mean, I can use AI to do repetitive, boring tasks like analysis, or maybe not exactly copywriting, but maybe brainstorming for copywriting and translating, sorry. But it can help a lot. So I can use this tool for this task and have my time, my saved time, to do something else. For example, if I were a hotel manager, I would ask, or a restaurant manager, I would ask myself, how can I improve my customer experience? What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And this is what I think is really exciting for small businesses because it's so easy and accessible. So this is how I would split my time if I was, for example, doing the marketing for a restaurant. I would use ChatGPT to find out what the top 10 pizza restaurants being recommended by AI assistants in Florence are. I would then find out why those 10 are being recommended. And if I wasn't one of those 10, I would ask, how do I make sure I'm not only one of those 10, but I am at the top of those 10? I would also ask what people were saying on TripAdvisor and Google about those restaurants. So what were people recommended? What were the top 5 qualities of those pizza restaurants that customers really appreciated? And I would look at my own reviews and see where the gaps were. Was it price? Was it service? Was it special treatment for a birthday? Was it a cake for a celebration? I would then not use AI to create content to demonstrate those points and the useful, not unique, because unique isn't always good. Unique doesn't always solve a problem. Useful selling points that my restaurant should be known for. An incredible pizza with very unusual toppings, or the best customer service in Florence. So, as you rightly say, use AI for the research, the brainstorming, the analysis, the understanding of where you are visible and where you are not visible, and then use human time to create interesting, emotional content that will connect from one person to another.
So copywriter will be happy to know their job is not gone because, you know, I don't know, is in UK. In Italy, now and then we have newspapers saying, okay, many people will lose their job because there is AI. I'm sure that some job will change, but probably some other will get more value. I think copywriter is a good example.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think AI will take your job if you let it. AI will protect your job if you use it in a smart way to give you back time so you can use more of your brain in more interesting, creative ways to do your job better. Use it as a tool. Nobody said the internet's going to take your job. They said the internet is going to make it easier and faster and simpler to do your job even better. AI is no different.
I agree. I've seen the dot-com period, the burst of the bubble, so the arrival of internet, and someone didn't survive, but someone gone. So every time we have a big revolution like this one of AI, can be an opportunity. We have to understand how can I use this tool in the smart way, not in the lazy way. I mean, I have students that just copy. That's not a good way. But since we are talking about future, 5 years from now, do you think we will still be talking about branding or brand?
I absolutely do. I think we will be, but in a slightly different way. I think consumers' expectations will carry on growing. I think people will expect there to be a community around a brand all the time. And there are some brands that do this very well already. You think about banks like Monzo starting to create co-working spaces. So they're adding value to their customers outside of their banking needs. I think consumers will expect to have some level of co-creation role within a brand. So consumers will expect to have much more of a say about how that brand behaves, how they reinvest their money, the charities and causes they support, how they deliver their products and services to customers. And I think we'll also expect brands to offer more outside of the transactional purchase. So if, for example, you do vineyard tours, outside of the tours, you also have work from local artists displayed in your cellar, the opportunity for customers to co-create a label for your latest red wine release with you, with the brand. We want to feel invested in the brands we spend money with. We expect a lot more back from that brand if we're going to give them our money and remain loyal to them.
I agree. I think brands will always exist. Obviously, things change, new way of traveling. As you said, I like this mixed way of wine experiences. Categories will change. Let's think about leisure, business and leisure, or staycation, stay vacation, new words that refers to new way of traveling. So things can change, but people will always love to identify with something. If that something represents values, passion, emotion, then it works. So it will be crucial for us as a brand to communicate brand values and emotion. Otherwise, they don't feel the connection, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at Airbnb, we didn't know we wanted to go and sleep in someone else's house before Airbnb. Now, I would imagine that 50-60% of our accommodation is booked through an Airbnb or similar experience over a hotel. We didn't know we wanted to ride in a car that wasn't a taxi until Uber. We didn't know that we wouldn't have to take a DVD back to a shop before Netflix. Innovation comes from brands. I think it's very unlikely that in 5, 10, 20 years' time more, that we'll say, I wear these boots because they're comfy. I wear these boots because I like the brand, I know they're good quality, they have a reputation. You wear Nike trainers because you have an affinity with that brand as well as liking the way those shoes feel on your feet. You like the way they look. By human nature, we need that relationship with brands. I don't think it will go away. I think AI will make it easier for us to find brands that we have an affinity with, and I think it will make it easier for brands to understand what they need to give their customers to earn their trust and loyalty.
Yes, you give us an excellent example of a new way of traveling or going around, and we know for sure that even players will change. Someone say, maybe in 5 years, Facebook will not exist anymore. I don't think it's a bad news. Or at least other famous player will disappear because things are evolving. So, but people still love to travel. They will like to come to Florence or to Oxford. So we need to understand what they want to do in Oxford or in Florence and how to talk with them. Today we have social media, we have blogs, we have website, we have portals, we have Reddit, we have so many platforms. It's not easy to manage all this job. Probably one of the hardest aspect is the time you need to invest to learn how to use this and to understand which one is the best for you, or at least how much time to put in every different platform.
And I also wonder, I have a hope that AI might help with over-tourism. I visited Paris recently with my family. We only had a couple of hours because we were stopping on our way home from the Loire Valley. And we asked ChatGPT for a 3-hour walking itinerary. And we asked specifically to avoid the main tourist destinations. And we went and had a coffee and a pastry in a tiny shop on a back street, 10 minutes from the Eiffel Tower. We walked through the most beautiful flower market. We saw things that we wouldn't have seen on our own, that AI gave us access to. Now, over-tourism is a much bigger and separate conversation to we're having today, but I do think it has the opportunity to help people explore a city in a different way with the confidence that they might not have if it wasn't for the storytelling from a brand that had been delivered with the help of an AI assistant. I also think that gives a very good opportunity to small businesses operating walking tours or self-guided tours to attract a bigger audience of people who are becoming more used to not going to the main tourist destinations in a city.
Okay, before asking the last question, I'm going to say we have a few minutes. If someone has a question for Catherine, we'll be glad to try to answer, because it's not easy to come there, but we will do it. So think if anyone has a question. Okay, we understood everything you said. So tomorrow, they are going out. The first thing they should do. Just one very practical suggestion you can give them.
I would ask someone to look at your customer journey for you. Someone who can be impartial. I would ask them to imagine they are looking for your product or service and to tell you exactly what happens across their search, their Google, website, social, and I guarantee they will give you at least 5 gaps where information isn't clear, information is out of date, images don't reflect what you actually do, a ticket is missing or confusing, there's a negative review that you maybe haven't replied to. So use this as an opportunity to do a very small audit of what your customer is seeing, because we all get too busy to look at how our customer is seeing our business. We get so wrapped up in how we see our business, how we see our marketing, that it's very easy to forget what other people are seeing. And I guarantee you'll find at least 5 things that are very quick and easy to fix and will improve that customer experience from a brand perspective.
Thank you. So, is there any question for Catherine? C'è qualche domanda per Catherine? Potete farla in italiano o in inglese? Se fate in italiano, provo a tradurla. Is there any question for Catherine?
I really like questions, so please don't be shy.
5 minutes. We just left. No, but even curiosity. No, my curiosity now. Oh, thank you. Okay. You are going to ask in Italian and English? In English?
Okay, I try in English.
Okay.
The question is, how can be an entrepreneur can be relevant inside ChatGPT, and how can change in the future the research, and maybe ChatGPT will substitute Google?
So if I understand correctly, the question is, how can we make sure we're continually relevant if ChatGPT maybe replaces Google? Is that right? Okay, great question. I think even if you spend 1 hour a month thinking about how to future-proof your business, it will be the best time you could possibly spend. Use AI, use tools like ChatGPT to ask, this is my business model, this is what we do, this is what we think is incredible about it. How might that evolve over the next 5 years? And then think about all of the different touch points that your customer is finding you in currently. Take Google out of that equation, but don't forget that people will still use destination apps like Reddit, TikTok, TripAdvisor directly, I imagine what will happen in years to come is that each of us will have an AI assistant that aggregates all of our useful content. So my top 5 most used apps are probably LinkedIn, Vinted, Vinted, absolutely obsessed with Vinted, TikTok, Monzo for my banking, and Gmail. They're probably my most used apps. I would imagine that in maybe as little as 1 year, that I will press a button in the morning or voice activate my phone and say, hey, tell me what's new. And my AI assistant will say, I've bookmarked 5 videos from TikTok that I think you'll find really funny. I've checked your banking and your payment from your client is coming in today. I see that you've got 5 things on Vinted that haven't sold that have been listed for more than a month. Would you like me to relist them? And so on and so on. So when that happens, how do you make sure that you are an accessible part of that experience? Do you have a really good email marketing strategy? Are you creating really compelling content on TikTok? All of those touch points that are invaluable to your brand, if 90% of your visibility currently comes from Google, then you're in a danger zone, aren't you? How do you offset that risk by diversifying how accessible you are to your audience, whether that's directly through an email or through that level of AI assistant filtering? Does that answer your question? Thank you.
Okay, yes, and beside that, every app has its own AI inside, so every AI of every different app can communicate and represent the scenery you just showed us. Okay, unless there is a very, very quick question. No question anymore? No? Okay, so I would like to say very big thank you to Catherine, a very
You're
big
welcome.
applause
Thank
to
you.
her. She's the first time in BTO, first time in Florence.
First time.
So very happy to have you here.
And talking of brand storytelling, I wouldn't be doing myself justice if I didn't tell my story. So you'll find me on LinkedIn. I'm Catherine Warrilow. I think this is a beautiful stage for a photograph. So please do share your experiences. Share if you've enjoyed this talk. Come and talk to me afterwards. I'm always happy to give advice. I will be around all day, and I really appreciate you as my audience. Thank you.
Thank you.